Thank you. Well, I know we don't have a PA system in here, but I'm getting mic just for the video. I learned about this place this summer when I was in LA. John Fiesel and I are friends on Facebook, and he kept posting all this stuff about this new facility that opened up in Orange School District. And at some point I reached out to him, we talked about it, and then when I got back here after our season, I came in, and it's really a remarkable place. And I understand why a facility like this can be very important, because basketball, and especially, I know most of us here are youth coaches. I understand that. And probably the most important thing that you can do as a youth coach, and coaching at all levels, is keep developing skill. The game is trying to get away from the physicality. If you see all the rule changes that are made in the college level and the professional level, so the skills are going to be the foundation of everybody's basketball career. And obviously shooting the basketball is extremely important, the ability to shoot the ball, make baskets. And with this facility, you can get a ton of reps. So I'm anxious to come in here, and I haven't been over here to see their busy times yet. But when I came in, we talked about potentially doing a clinic, and I know that we promoted this more at the CABA meeting. The word may have got out with some other coaches, which is fine too. But I'm going to start talking about things that I did when I coached the youth level. Honestly, some of the things I did then, I do with the team I'm coaching now. Some of the shooting drills, the basic defensive philosophies. I was fortunate to really have some great coaches when I played in high school and in college. And so I think a lot of times, what I want you to think about is when you're coaching these young players, boys or girls, it doesn't matter. And I'll be honest with you, I would coach the girls just like I would coach the boys. That you're sort of laying the foundation of their experience in athletics and sports. I know you're coaching basketball, but it carries over, because if you think back right now, you're going to think about some of the best coaches you have had in your careers. It doesn't have to be basketball coaches, because the good ones always make an impact. Doesn't matter what age you were coached. Same thing with teachers. They always make a great positive impact. So I'm going to tell you this. The first thing I'm going to tell you is the first thing I tell my team right now. When we have our first meeting, the first thing I tell them is I want them to really enjoy the experience. I want them to enjoy the experience. I want them to enjoy being a part of this team. I'm not promising you any playing time. No, I'm just talking about my team. Yours is different. Not promising playing time. I'm not promising you anything except I'm going to work hard that you enjoy the experience. And that all begins with, and you're going to all have this. You have this in your workplace. You have this in your home, and you're going to have it with your team. You're going to have a culture. You're going to have a culture. And the coach is what's going to lay the foundation for that culture. The players are going to help, but you're going to lay the foundation. Okay? And so as you go through this, you'll think about some of the things that might be important. Okay? One might be, be on time. Another one might be when the coach is talking, everybody else is listening. A third thing might be that you're going to have great hustle all the time. Fourth one might be you're going to support your teammates all the time. So those are the kind of things that help develop the culture. Some of you have coached a lot in the past, so you sort of understand what I'm talking about. Everybody here has a culture you're involved in, whether it's at home, whether you're a teacher in your classroom, whether it's at work, whether it's in the church, doesn't matter. There's a culture. So now, being a coach of the team, you got to help develop that foundation. For all of you, and this is what you have to get into your mind, to enjoy the experience. And when you're coaching young people, youth especially, and when I talk about youth, I'm talking about middle school on down, okay? You have to get across to yourself first that you're not going to base your joy of the experience on wins and losses. Can't do it. If you want to enjoy the experience, you can't do it. You got to base it on other things. And the best thing to base it on, and as a mature adult, what you have to do is be patient. So what you want to think about is, you get your team on day one, and they're looking like this. And then you get your team on going into the last game of the season, and now they're looking like this. What kind of improvement have they made from start to finish? That's what you're thinking about. So every day you come in, and I know that you might have had a tough day at work, you might have a tough day at home, whatever. For that 1 hour, whatever that is, it gives you a chance to get away from all that and really enjoy what you're doing coaching these young people. So developing the skill is very important. The other thing you want to think about is you can also develop some things that can help these people when they leave you. Okay, and you might not think it's that important, you might not think you have that kind of influence, but you never know. I think we all know as adults that the better you get along with people across the board, at home, in the workplace, the better and the more success you're going to have. Individuals that can't get along with other people, they don't go very far. So you can help these young people understand the value of teamwork. Very important. And I know a lot of times we're sort of getting away from this, but there's still a value to this. And it's probably setting in with me more now at my age than maybe it was even 15 years ago, is the value of sportsmanship. The value of sportsmanship. Sometimes it's lost. And a lot of times these guys right here, and ladies, they only see some of this on TV. Their view of basketball or sports is what they see on TV in a lot of ways. So that's different than what is important sometimes. But you also can, as you watch things on TV that they might see, pull out pieces of quality sportsmanship and explain and show good, positive examples. Okay? After you play a game and you lose, and after you play a game and you win, your demeanor should be pretty similar. Should be pretty similar. You're happy for them. They've done well. Win or lose. Okay? That doesn't mean you can't come back and say, hey, we did some good things here, but we got to get better in some areas. Because in the end, what you want is for them to enjoy the sport, for them to enjoy athletics, for them to enjoy being coached. Because that's what's going to help them down the road. It's going to help them next week when you get them again. And I know what's going to happen. You know, they're going to go home, and all coaches deal with this. You coach them for a while, you have a game, someone doesn't do very well, your outcome's not great, whatever. They go home, they get an earful of something else. Okay, so I know you're combating that as well. Stay consistent with your message. Stay consistent with your message. Find a way to challenge them. Find a way to push them. Okay? But find a way to be a positive leader. Okay? Through thick and thin. Through thick and thin. Stay consistent. Stay consistent. And when they walk out of there, Okay, and it's just like, if you remember the first thing I told you, when they walk out of there each day, or they leave you at the end of the year, when they think back on that experience, you want that to be positive. Because what that game that you played on December 10th when you got beat by 40 points, which happens sometimes in youth games, doesn't matter anymore. But what matters is how they feel at the end when they leave. Okay? So you can teach them a lot of things that's going to be very important for them to be successful in life. Okay? All right, so we got some guys down here and some ladies down here. And we're going to go through some drills. I've coached over 30 years. Okay? At all different levels. But I've probably coached more youth games and had more youth practices than I've had anything else. Because I coached both my kids growing up all the way through until I couldn't anymore. Coaching in the WNBA, that's the one perk you have, is that your off season's in the wintertime. So I was fortunate enough to be able to come back and do that. I was fortunate enough for people to let me do that. So I've coached a lot of young kids. I've coached a lot of youth games, but I've coached probably as many youth practices. Okay? Here, and these guys are the same as the people I'm coaching right now. I'm coaching some really great players and some great people. Okay? Some of the best in the world. Candace Parker, Elena Beard, Nneka Ogwumike. Some of you may have heard of them. May not. I've coached Sue Bird, Dinah Taurasi. Some great players. But everybody's sort of the same. You want them to come in and be engaged in practice so they can get better. Okay? One of the best things to do, and I know when I was growing up we didn't do this. This is something for you to think about because a lot of the colleges are doing this now. Okay? And I thought, that wouldn't have flown when I was playing. But it does now. Is they play music. They play music on the side during practice. Not real loud, but it's in the background. And I know it's part of the enjoyment of being there. Okay, I know why they do it. The other thing that I found that really makes practices flow well, makes them interesting to coach, and they also make it interesting to the players, is when if every drill that you can do, or as many as you can do, make it competitive. Make it competitive. Whether you're going against time, or you're going against another person, or you're going against another group in practice. Make your practices competitive. Because you can always teach things through competition. It carries over. It carries over. How you deal with adversity might be the most important component to being successful in life. And if you can create some of that in practice and help people get through that, deal with that, it's only going to make your team better. How to deal with adversity.